Nimshach Obioha, the country manager of Telesofta Nigeria, and is going to be moderating the panel on how you can break into the international talent market. Put your hands together for him now.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I can't hear you. Hello. How are you today? Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to break into the global markets as a tech bro or tech sis, but not just for tech in particular, but also tech ancillary skills. And before we start, I have a bunch of goodies I want to give out. So I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. If you answer, whether correctly or wrong, you get something. So let's start. How many of you want to work for global firms? Can I see your hand? Okay, great. So my first question is, what do you think is a major difference between interviewing for a local company and interviewing for a global company? Who wants to try? Can I get another microphone? Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Juliana. So I feel for a company that's just your country, for a global company, they want to see how you want to influence not just your environment, but the world at large, which will involve also their country. So not just your environment, but the world at large. How you can reach a wider audience, not just your niche or where you are, but somewhere very far from you, somewhere that is not even close to you. How you can make impact from where you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Spoken like a very good motivational speaker. Here. I love motivational speakers so much. Do you know why? Because they get to talk and not do anything most of the time. You need to create impact. When you want to work globally, make sure you can show you have impact across. Do you really think they care? All right, let's see. Let's try.
Okay,
Yeah.
For me, I think that it's been intelligent, like, will I say globally intelligent? I don't think there's any word like that, but
Interesting.
in my own language, I would say to be globally intelligent, like you are you know about probably the culture, like the way they do things. For example, some part of Nigeria, the way you will converse with an employer, the person will feel like, oh, this person is really rude. And if you take the same approach to someone from the US, an employer from the US, the person feels like, this person is acting like they are begging for the job.
Interesting.
So I think it's understanding how things go like everywhere globally, generally. Thank you.
So I like that. I think I'll couch what you said as, thank you so much, being culturally aware, right? Being aware of who you're working with or who you're interviewing with from a cultural perspective. Who else wants to try? Okay, there's a young man over there.
Thank you. So I think the first thing is that it's going to be 100% virtual versus in Nigeria one that can be hybrid. The second thing is I think you have to prove that you are proficient with virtual tools because your whole interview, your whole working is going to be 100% virtual. And then they would also want to know that you're flexible because the difference between local and global work is time zones. And so if somebody else might be at night and you might be at day. So you need to prove to them that you'll be flexible enough to work with them and then competent enough to use virtual tools. Apart from that, I think the skills are the same.
In fact, I'm going to give you 2 socks. One for you, one for your girlfriend, because she chose right. All right, thanks so much. One more person. Anybody else wants to try? He finished everything, right? I felt like he said everybody's points. All right, so to help me marshal out everything else, to talk about what are the different things, the different phases, what to think about, what to care about, I have two interesting people that will join me on stage. So can you please help me make welcome Jane? Jane is our people manager. Please put your hands together for her. And Steve. Steve is one of our senior engineers. Jane, we have a hard task of finishing all these socks. So I feel like by the time we're done, they'll think we're a socks company.
Okay. Right. So where do we start?
Jane, you're the lady. I think you should be in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Gender balance, right?
Right.
Okay. You know, I was just thinking while you were asking your question, another question popped up in my mind, and that is, how do I even get noticed? How do I get noticed from my small corner in Nigeria? How do I get noticed by a global company? What do I need to do to shine on the stage?
Especially because when you're applying to a global firm, any global company that's thinking about hiring talent here are clearly trying to hire from around the world. So just imagine, if you think that it's competitive to apply to Nigerian companies when you're Nigerian, just imagine how much tougher it is when they're reviewing applications from all around the world. So what are the key things, right, that gets you noticed?
Please put up the first slide.
Oh, we have slides.
Of course we have slides.
Okay.
Right. Please, could you put up the first slide?
I think this is the first slide.
Nah, the second slide then.
Next slide.
Okay, the next slide.
Yes, next. Okay.
Nice. And somehow I like to stand because I want to speak to this. So guys, I have had the privilege of interviewing several candidates who are looking to take on tech roles in the global space, and I have noticed a trend. It's a mind shift, and most candidates are not prepared for that mind shift. So it's like wanting to work physically in where? Now, give me an example of a country, any country.
Poland.
What do they speak? What language do they speak there?
Polish.
Polish, great. So imagine getting a job in Poland where Polish is spoken. The interview, imagine, is in Polish, and you don't know jack about Polish, but you speak really great English. You see there's going to be a problem, right? Yeah. So it's like that too with interview for global roles, global tech roles. You need to have a mind shift. First of all, the way we think here in Nigeria, tech-wise, no offense to tech people, it's not the same way the guys over there think about tech. They think about tech in terms of practicing clean codes, knowing the principles, using conventions, design patterns and standards. Steven, Abby? Yeah. So they are asking you questions, and it is in that light. If it's not something that you are used to, if you're not used to thinking in that pattern and communicating tech-wise in that pattern, then interview becomes a problem. If you're the type that is, Shebi is working. It's working now. I know I did something. I just did something and the thing is working. No problem. And you can't explain how you made it work, then you're going to have a challenge. So if you're thinking global, you need to, before you even start applying, begin to practice. When you solve a problem or create a solution, you are thinking of that solution along this line. Stevie, did I miss anything out? Yeah.
Yeah, so what I can say to this is I'm a developer, so I've had the opportunity to interview with companies around the world. And I think there are a couple of things I can share with you on how you can get noticed. I think the first is you need to be out there. You need to be out there, and a very major tool you can use is your LinkedIn profile. Now, I remember when I started my journey as a software developer, there was this particular way we wrote our profile. It was just, well, I say, it wasn't captivating. So I went online and I made a couple of research, then I changed mine. So what I got was like, you talk about yourself, say a story, right? So I started like, I used to dream of being global, of being international, and this, that. When my friends saw it, man, they laughed at me like, Steve, what the hell is this? I was like, well, that's what I want. Because like, to me, it felt more real. Because I was telling a story about myself. I talked about how I used to dream I want to go global, how I started, and how I don't even know how I'm going to get there. Right. Now, along the years, I began to refine that particular story. And trust me, like last year, I had the opportunity to travel to Europe, sponsored by organizations that just want me. I didn't apply to them, but I got noticed. They saw my LinkedIn profile, and they were like, okay, this guy's profile is good, it's captivating. And another thing about your LinkedIn profile you need to do is, when you're writing about your references, like your projects, things you've worked on, you need to be smart. Okay, I don't know the full meaning of smart right now, but we know smart, specific, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to pick out those 2 points, specific and measurable. Right? If, for instance, I use a particular technology, you need to specify what to use that technology to do in that particular project and what was the outcome. Right? Probably you were able to improve performance from 60% to 98.8% or something. Right? So you have to make sure that when you write things, just make them very, very smart and brief. So I think if you have a very good LinkedIn profile as a developer, I guarantee you, before the period of months, you will see guys trying to poach you.
Thanks. One other thing I want to add is, just again around your LinkedIn profile, is make sure that you have the right buzzwords inside your profile. Why is this important? Because many of the international jobs typically headhunt people. So every day, Jane is scraping through LinkedIn trying to find people that we're trying to hire for, right? But she's searching keywords. So if your profile, no matter how great you are, if your profile doesn't have certain keywords, then your profile won't pop up, and then you won't get people like trying to offer you opportunities. And one of the things that Jane said about the cultural differences, I don't typically think about them as bad. So I don't think about Nigerian engineers or devs or techies as bad as much as I think of it as different. One of the key things I tell international companies that want to recruit locally is that they need to understand that the talent market will only be as developed as the companies that are hiring locally. What does this mean? It means that if you're working here, the only projects you would have done are things that the market here requires you to do. True? So a couple of years ago, I remember a full stack dev in Nigeria was you being able to customize HTML websites and write hello world, right? Like if you could do that, you were a full stack. Why? Because you did front end and you did back end, right? But that's what the market wanted. It was a time when nobody was building apps. Like you couldn't pitch app to any company, right? Like nobody was going to pay you to build an app. So the same thing, as the market evolved, so did the talent evolve. So the requirements from the companies changed the requirements for people, and people now had to sort of improve. And one of the key things that Nigerians like, and this is just employers in general, is, can you work? True? If someone meets you and says, hey, I want to build an app, you say, okay, so it's going to take me 3 months to build the app. I'm going to have to work with 3 more engineers plus myself. It's going to cost you 10 million naira. They're like, really? Can you build it for 1.5? 500K, 750,000. And then you're not saying, well, I can build something, it will work. But there's like just, hey, okay, do the 1 million, I want the 1 million naira one, right? and a perfect example is, can you see our banner? Can you see it?
Nimshach, you didn't have to.
No, I have to do this because I have to do this. Can you see the banner? Can you notice anything wrong with the banner? Huh?
The banner is up now.
It's up. Can you see? No, Telesofta, that one. Welcome to Lagos Startup Week. Can you see it? Is there anything wrong with it? Huh? What's wrong with it? Huh?
Nimshach, time for another socks.
No. What's wrong? Okay, socks. 5 people to tell me what's wrong with it. Just come forward, and 5 people, 5. We need to give socks. Tell me what's wrong with our banner. All right.
So, I think the Welcome to Lagos Startup is meant to compress a bit. So
Put the mic in your mouth. The mic.
Put your mic in your mouth.
sorry,
You don't want people to hear your voice. Oh my God. He has a salesy voice. He doesn't want all the ladies in the house to. All right. Well, that's not what is wrong with it, though, but I'll give you socks anyway.
One of the first things I saw is it's not firm enough. I mean, the banner should be
Stretched,
well
right?
stretched. So that's
It's rumpled, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Thank you. Give him.
Okay, what I would say I noticed is that the theme of this program is
Yes.
Lagos Startup Week.
Yeah.
But the week is the same as, like, that's the Lagos Startup Week should be the highlight. But the week is
The week
carrying
is
the
week.
same
Color as welcome.
visual element as the welcome to. So it looks.
So it's
kind
bad,
of-
right? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't go with the Lagos Startup.
At all.
Nimshach, this guy
So
is
the
a
week
designer.
is different.
Yes, the guy's finishing us. Right, take socks. Thank you. Last person. Okay, lady. Only guys came up, please. So the lady will talk last.
Okay, so I think the person that designed it was trying to add the logo of Telesofta.
Yeah.
It's trying to add this at that place, but it's just like, it's not complete.
It's just
there.
half a
So,
logo.
exactly.
What is half a logo when you can have a full logo?
Exactly.
Please, take socks.
So I think that the banner, the width is very small.
Okay.
So the Welcome to Lagos Startup is literally coming out of the edges.
I'm telling you, right?
So that's what I can see.
Terrible. Thank you so much. But does it work? Does it work?
He's working.
Does it work? No? Is it standing? Can you see it? Can you read it? Okay. Can you see the difference between this one and Paystack there? This looks like up and coming, upcoming. This is like I don't blow. Right? So typically, one cultural problem, the difference is, in Nigeria, if you want this, you have to be there by yourself when they are putting it. Right? First of all, you have to decide you want quality, then you have to be there. And you have to say, no, hey, bring it down, put it back, stretch this side. True? If you tell them, do it, I'm coming, you come back, you see it like this. Typically, have you not used tailor before? Have you not used tailor? Have you not used painter? Have you ever left painter in your house and come back in the evening to see what they painted?
Nimshach,
All right, Jay, next slide.
We hope the designer has collected his balance because.
All right, next
Please,
slide.
next slide. So, in summary, put some things together that you need to do to get noticed as well. Like Steven mentioned, update your online portfolio, right? Your summary description should spell out the technology that you are proficient at. This is what a recruiter looks out for. So if I'm recruiting for a Node.js, I will just type Node or LinkedIn. And if you have it on your profile, it will pop up, okay? So if it's not just Node, if you have other languages that you're familiar with, list them out in your profile. Then don't leave anything out. Then have a nice, relatable profile picture. I've noticed that most dev on LinkedIn, when you look at their picture, the face is too strong.
No, because the work is hard.
They have hard skills.
What does it take to just have fine picture? Fine picture, white background, or go to studio because you will not be there when the recruiter is searching for you. And people like me that have to search through lots and lots of profiles, I'm looking for the person that will make me smile. I mean, we're human, right? Humans like to look at faces. I'm not a computer. So please put a fine picture. Then visit LinkedIn frequently. There are some people, great profiles. I've written to on LinkedIn since last year. They've not responded. Because they don't visit LinkedIn. And they're somewhere else looking for global opportunities. So you need to be where these global people are. All right? Visit LinkedIn so you don't miss our recruiters' messages. Then lastly, from time to time, tell the world what you're working on, right? In your post. So you did some training on AWS. Just blow your trumpet. Oh, I just finished a training on AWS, something, 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 something. You will pop up on my radar because LinkedIn will notice that I have been searching for AWS. You get? So that's how, so that's how you work it. Next slide, please. So Nimshach, how do we do this one? Applying for the role. Things to consider before sharing your resume.
Okay. So I'm going to start again with understanding the culture of who you're working with, right? And who you're trying to apply to. You know, one very interesting cultural difference is, so when I started working in a global firm, one of the things that we do in Nigeria, you know how you can be friends with somebody for years and not know their name in Nigeria, right? So how? Because when you meet them, it's like boss, bros, chief, chairman, egbon, how far are you there, right? And so I was chatting with this colleague of mine, and every time I chat to him up, I always start with, hello, chief, or hello, boss. And then one day the guy said, Nimshach, I'm very uncomfortable with you calling me boss. It's a flat structure. All of us are equal, right? Just call me by my name. I'm like, oh my God, I really didn't realize that there's a cultural nuance, right? So for example, if you go to apply to a Nigerian firm, and the CEO is on the panel, or the head of HR is on the panel, you have to greet, good afternoon, ma, right? Typically, if that person is older, good afternoon, ma, good afternoon, sir, right? But when you interview with global firms, typically you'll be like, hello, John, hello, Tracy, hello, Teresa, how are you today? And it's hello. It's not like, good afternoon, ma. It's an honor to be here. I really want to thank you for the opportunity to have picked my resume for this opportunity.
We have not reached interview.
Okay, not reached interview. Okay,
yeah,
but
the candidate has not applied.
I know, but you prepare your mind now. Things to do. Please tell us. Me, I don't know what to do.
Okay, let me just say, before you apply for the role, because of most of us will get excited when we see the opportunity. And one of the first things we want to do is like just go pick your CV, then just send it immediately. No, that's
the old CV.
The old CV.
CV.
In fact, trust me, I was almost tempted to do that sometimes before.
One CV to rule them all.
That rules them all. No, you don't do that. Now, if you have a role that you want to apply for, one of the first things you want to do is like go to the website of the organization and see the technologies that they use. Though it should have been in the job description, though. And also look at, are these guys fintech guys, or are they more into telco or stuff like that? Then what you're going to do is that you have to now come back to your CV. And one thing you should not do in your CV, don't lie, because they will catch you, right? Okay, maybe locally they may not catch you, right? But when you are interviewing with guys that are international, these guys are good, right? If you lie in your CV, they will catch you, and because of that alone, they could just strike you out. So what you're going to do is that you look at those roles, those technologies that they use, that they require. You make sure you highlight them in your CV. And trust me, those technologies that are not required, right, you may simply just take them off, or maybe just put them maybe at the base. Right, so you list your technologies like Java, Spring Boot, MySQL, Cassandra, Terraform, and so on and so forth. Then when you now come to like the places you have worked, your work experience. for each of the work experience, right, you have to state what you have used those technologies for. Like, for instance, maybe I worked on one particular fintech application for paying bills, and we use Spring Boot, right? I could say I use Spring Boot for building the backend and MySQL for probably the database, and also you use Redis. And there are some things you always want to also do, is that you may want to put the reason why you use that particular technology based on the challenge that you are trying to solve, right? And also, when you are also putting in the points for those work experiences, right, always try to put in figures. Let's say, for instance, it was a project that you actually didn't start. You had to come into maintenance. You could say probably by the time you start the project, okay, the performance was about 60%, but you implemented Redis caching. By using Redis caching, you improved performance to about, say, 98%, or probably the database was always freezing, and because of that, you had to use partitioning on the tables, and after applying partitioning, the freezing was no more, and performance improved. So once you write technologies, put the reason why you use them should be there, not so much, don't talk so much stories. And also, if you probably made a significant impact, let that impact be there. And another thing you always want to do is that you kind of order them, the most important ones come first before the least important ones. So, and any technology you put, like when you list your technologies, it must reflect. For instance, if I say I am a Java developer for 8 years, what it means is that from my work experience, maybe my first company was probably company A. I will have like 2 years experience Java. My next company, company B, it must reflect 3 years experience of Java. The next company, company C, will now have probably 4 years, because it must all add up. I can't say I have 8 years experience in Java, then company A, they don't see Java there. Company B, they don't see Java there. Then company C, where I started 2 years ago, you now put Java. Then it doesn't add up. So you have to also make sure that all these things add up and make your CV very brief. I like only key points. If you try to make it so big, like put all the tech, like that's what we do normally. We put Node.js, JavaScript, Angular, MySQL, Cassandra, AWS, just because I think this idea of maybe anywhere belly face now, so they can just choose you. But when it comes to international companies, they don't do that, right? What they want is what they want, and that is what they look out for. Yeah.
So, Stevie, we need to see your CV again. Yeah. So the truth is, when I am sourcing for a role and I'm looking through a resume, I am looking for the stack that has been listed in the role. That's the first thing I'm looking for. So if Symfony, MySQL, Postgres, API, RESTful API was listed, that sounded like PHP was listed. Those are the first things I'm looking for, because I don't have time. So I would just check. Oh, he has it here. He has it in his job. He has it here. Then I will now check. Oh, he even has his other ones, right? His balloon. Right. So always tailor your resume to the job. Read the job description. Many people don't read job description. They just fire the CV quickly so that they'll be part of the first people that applied, so that recruiter will see their CV first. Doesn't work like that, though. We have really nice shortlisting softwares that help you just pick out, what's that thing you call? Keywords. Keywords, right? So it doesn't matter when you apply. Just take your time to ensure that your resume speaks Right. And that part about not lying about one language, very true. It can be very embarrassing. You know, there was one interview like that we did. You were not in that interview. You were not in that interview. So the guy put Cassandra. The guy put Cassandra in his resume. He didn't have experience for Cassandra.
But did you ask him if his girlfriend was Cassandra? you just never can tell because it just felt like, oh my God, I dated Cassandra for 2 years. I have 2 years experience with Cassandra. Like,
and the bad thing is that it was a tech interview.
oh my God.
So, and it was so shameful for me.
Because you shortlisted
because
him.
I shortlisted
and
the
you
guy.
vouched for him. And he has fine profile picture. And you're like, this guy, look, just take a look.
He can't form my
Does he not look professional to you?
So, you know, the interview was going very smoothly. And then one of the tech leads now said, okay, so what exactly did you use Cassandra for? The guy now said, Cassandra? I don't remember telling you I have experience in Cassandra. I said, but it's in your resume.
Oh my
that
God.
Was the end, though.
End of interview.
And the bad thing is that he reflected badly on Nigerian talent. That we lie. So now, when I bring CV, they will use microscope to look, you know, to be sure. That was what gave rise to that form that I created.
Yeah.
You know, to just be sure, do you know what you're writing? How many years experience do you have with this one, this one, this one? So I can help you tell the truth, just in case you've forgotten.
So this is another thing with the cultural nuances, right? Most, especially European countries, they have a trust-based economy, right? We just had a trip, and I had some of my colleagues just incredibly amazed at how people react to stuff. So you walk into a shop and you say, your colleague that was working in the morning owes me $10. 10 euros from yesterday. And they're like, oh, really? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. She just takes that 10 euros and gives you. Like, you won't call to ask. Say, no, I trust you. Like, why would you lie? Why would I lie? 1,001 reasons. 1, my family is hungry. 2, I need to send money to my mom. Why would I lie? There's so many reasons for me to lie. The same way, they can't understand why did you put a technology in your CV that you don't have. Why? Because I don't know what you're looking for anywhere better face. If you're looking for Cassandra, it's there. If you're looking for, do you understand? But the problem is because it's a trust-based economy, once you're caught in a lie, that's the end. It's like, how do I trust now that your Java that you said that you have is true? Because I can tell you about Java, but how do I know that it's true? And this is the last thing. You have to realize that, and it's quite a heavy responsibility that as a local talent working on the global scene, you're more than just a talent. You're an ambassador. Definitely. And there is a lot of onus on you to change a narrative because there's a lot of, there might be already a lot of negative narrative about Nigeria. So there's a lot of pressure to ensure that you put your best foot forward. Jane, some people are starting to signal me that we are going out of time. So maybe we can...
Two more, just two more.
Two more, right? All right, let's do this.
So now they have gotten shortlisted. What next? Next slide, please.
Okay.
Tech interview. This is like almost the last slide.
Okay.
Steven.
Nearly the tech interview. Okay, because of our time, I will just be very fast about this and give you the tips. Right, so basically, once you have been selected and you have been shortlisted for the interview, right, the interviews are always in 3 phases, right? The first one is always having a coding challenge. Then the second one could be a live coding, or probably where you're going to talk about systems. Then the third one could be the one with the people resource, which is like the simplest one, right? That's the one we like to attend. Okay, so now for coding challenge, right, I know a lot of developers here would say algorithms, we don't use it in real life, but trust me, the reason why you think if you don't use it in real life is because you don't know it. Because if you know it, you are going to use it in real life, right? So you need to be prepared. There are a lot of sites out there. We have LeetCode, we have Hackerrank, right? You need to be prepared because of, okay, just look at it now. I have 2 candidates. These 2 guys are good. They are proficient in Java. They are good programmers. but this guy knows algorithm, this guy doesn't know algorithm. Who am I going to choose? I'll go for the guy that knows algorithm, right? Because there's an added advantage. So you need to be able to pass coding challenge, and you need to prepare for coding challenges. There are sites out there that can help you prepare. Some people go all the way to pay for algo experts. I have a friend, okay, he's a member of my community though, right? He paid for algo expert. Then we were laughing at him, say, guy, you're paying all this money for what? But of recent, the guy has interviewed with AWS. Maybe by next week, he's telling us that, okay, I've gotten the job offer. But he paid the price, right? So the second one is technical, like say the systems interview or live coding challenge, right? Live coding challenge actually may be things relating to algorithm, which I've already spoken about. Now for systems interview, now what I'll say here is this: try to specialize, because this is what's going to help you do. If you specialize, for instance, if you are a Java developer, okay, I'm a Java developer, I'm using Java as well. For a Java developer, learn Java, learn Spring Framework, right? And after learning that, learn related technologies. Learn things like probably OAS, that is Open API Specification. Learn things like Terraform, right? Learn things like Jenkins, right? So these are related technologies, right? These are the things that they will ask you about when you come to systems interview. Because from the coding challenge, you've already proven that you understand that particular language you're talking about. Okay, now when it now comes to integration, how can you use the language? And for global companies, right, they are not just interested in how well you can program, but how efficiently can you work? And you need this kind of tools to help you work much more efficiently, right? So for that, you need to learn related technologies. Then, of course, when it now comes to once you get to the third stage, which is the people's resource interview, what it means is that the guy who needs you, that is the person who has requested that we need this particular developer, has given them a pass. So when it comes to people interview, I think Jane will be in the best position to tell you what you need to do.
Thanks, Stephen. Just a couple of other things on the tech interview arena. One of the things you want to be able to do is to talk tech. So we realize that, again, because many people recruiting for developers in Nigeria are not the technical founders, or they're not technical themselves. They want to know that you can build something that works. So many interviews, you're probably talking about, I built this thing that does this. For example, I built an app that can make payments across borders in 5 different countries. I built a school management system that allows people put up records. That's nice. But in a tech interview, we don't want to know what the app does. We want to know, what did you do on the team, with what technologies, what challenges did you face, and how did you overcome them? Right? We want to know the specific tech you did. And again, it's like math. You know, if you remember in secondary school, you could, when they say differentiate this, some people just say, they'll write the question back and they'll say equal to 7.
Yeah.
Right? And then the teacher will put question mark, and say, show your working. Right? Because all you just look at your friend's work. What's the answer, Greg? 7. And the same thing, because many times in the tech interview, it's not so much did you work as how did you think about it? What was your thinking process? How did you break down the problem, and how did you... So in math, for example, the way sometimes you might not arrive at the answer, but you might score higher than someone that arrived at the correct answer because of the steps that you took, is exactly what actually goes on here too. And then the last thing is, this is also a cultural difference. We realize that Nigerians typically have broad stacks, right? So you hear someone saying that, I've done small Java, I want to go and learn, and then I'm going into AI now. Right? And the reason, again, is because you want anything you're looking for is on my CV. Can you do yes? Because the Nigerian employer will say, can you do front end? Yes. Can you do back end? Yes. Can you do database? Yes. I can do all. Like, in fact, me like this, I'm a team. Only me. Only me, I can build everything. DevOps, testing. Just hire me, and I'm your whole tech department. But it's different. Here, we want you to specialize. Like, are you a back end? Are you a front end? Do you know this technology in depth, right? So before you come to the interview, I used to tell some of the hiring managers that, look, we might not know the words, but we know how to do it, right? So they say, hey, what technology do you use for this? They say, I don't know. I don't know. As they say this person also, I say, no, just give him the task. He will do it. We can do. We don't know the name, but we know the doing. Sometimes, for the interview's sake, know the name. Yeah. Right? Know the name. So do some reading before you go in for the interview, just so that you have those buzzwords. You know those things that you can say, okay, oh, I know this technology, and this is what it does, and this is how I can use it.
Yeah, cool. Cool, you've covered that. Yeah, lastly, don't be afraid to say you don't know.
Yes.
So the last interview that I was on, a tech interview, I was an observer on it, and the tech guy, the tech lead, and the candidate, they were just talking. You were talking through his home task. And the guy was going deeper and asking him some things that this other candidate obviously didn't know. And in my mind, my heart was beating. I said, this guy should not just lie now. He should not just lie. He should not say he forgot. So the guy now said, I don't know this, but I'm going to find out. I haven't encountered this before, but I'm going to find out. I heaved a huge sigh of relief.
Don't push it.
Because after the interview, that was what made him. He wasn't exactly 100%. He was 50-50. He failed 50 of the questions and got 50.
Yeah, and that's it.
And what tipped the balance was, this guy is teachable. He's humble enough to unpack what he already knows and take on us. Because the thing with tech is each company has their DNA. Each company has the way they do their own tech. All right? So they want to see that you are open to learn, that you will not force your own ways on their own ways. It's always very key. Last slide. Now we'll go home. Oh, no.
We covered this.
Yeah, you talked about
next slide.
it. Nimshach, this is your word. People skills.
Yes. All right. So when you go for an interview, and this is because you have to realize that if you're actually interviewing globally, English might not be their first language, right? So you don't assume that they can understand everything you're saying. And the truth is, many times, for example, if you're speaking to a Nigerian, at whatever point I stop understanding you, I will tell you, right? It's like, I beg, guy, open your mouth, talk. If you want to talk, right? We'll give you feedback as it is hot. But it doesn't happen the same way. So sometimes, you see, I'm on an interview, I'm listening to someone speak, I know my foreign colleague is not understanding, but she's smiling and she's nodding. And then after the interview, I'm like, did you understand what he said? He said, I didn't understand anything he said. I'm like, but why were you smiling and nodding? So that guy now left the interview and said, man, I've crushed it. You need to even see the fine girl. She was smiling, she was nodding. In fact, pastor's prayer worked. But she didn't understand anything. So you have to talk slower. Especially also with sometimes internet connectivity might be bad. And then you know what happens when it slacks, and then when it gets better, it now rushes what you said. You're like, yeah, right? So talk slower. Be very careful with your pronunciations. So for example, when I'm talking to foreigners, my accent completely changes. And it's not because
Is it funny?
It's funny now. I have to phonerize it. But it's not funny. It's not funny. I just have to talk a little bit clearer. So I'm not trying to say, wanna, gonna, right? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just going to talk a little slower. I'm going to talk a little clearer. I'm going to interject with, do you understand what I'm saying? Are you following me? Do I need to repeat myself? I'm watching their expression for visual cues. If the person squints a bit, it means that maybe they didn't get it. Do I need to go back? So I'm very responsive to them in communicating. So communication is huge. There are so many people who've disqualified just because they say, we can't understand them on the interview. It's going to be a challenge when we hire them. Because when you're hired, now you're in the team and you need to converse with your teammates who are foreigners. And we're afraid that if we don't understand you now, we won't understand you then. So it's be very, very clear when you're communicating.
But let me just say this, because this is a challenge that most of us face. I also face this, right? Okay, what's in a situation whereby you're speaking to a Chinese who does not really understand English, and she's speaking and she's speaking English like you're speaking
Chinese,
Mandarin,
yes.
and you cannot understand. So what do you do in this kind of situation?
So again, like I said, remember, I feel like this is also a cultural nuance, right? In Nigeria, saying I don't know means that you won't get the job, right? Asking questions means that you probably don't have a hang of what it is that you are doing. But it's different on the other side. If you didn't hear me, say, can you repeat yourself? Can you take that slower? Did you say this, right? So go into the interview knowing that it's a conversation. It's not so much an evaluation as much as it's a conversation. They want to see how calm you are, how engaging you are, how you could just flow with it, right? So if the person is speaking English like Mandarin and you're not getting it, please say, please, could you repeat yourself? Is this what you're trying to communicate? Is this what you said? And then you continue. So it's be very, ensure you understand, and many times don't just jump into conclusions. How many of you saw the video of NSCDC's website? Remember now, Oga at the top, the one that we will use now is not the one, nobody remembers. I feel like a dinosaur. Do you remember, right? www.ncdc. That's all. Right? All that guy needed to say was, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. This is terrible. One of my aides there, because he was a boss. And John, come. What's the website? Please tell these people the website. And it would have been a joke. He would have gone through. But now we've made T-shirts. We have done Oga at the top. All of us know Oga at the top now, thanks to this guy. But a simple I don't know would have sufficed.
All right. So overall, thank you, Nimshach. Overall, just relax. Bear in mind that as they are evaluating you, they also believe that you are evaluating them as well.
Exactly.
So they are hoping you will like them. I've had interviews. After the interview, the lead is calling me to say, how was it? How was it? Did I do good? What does the candidate think? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So they want to look good to you. So relax. Because they are looking for talent. They're the ones looking for talent. Forget that you're the one looking for a job, but they are looking for you. So, you're on the stage, flex, be happy, and show yourself. If you do all this, I will employ you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, by the way, I have more socks. So please, we're going to be somewhere in the hall. Find us and come and collect socks. Another thing is, I know our banner doesn't look very well. The words are outside. The banner is rumpled. But there's a QR code there, right? Do scan it. There's a bunch of stuff that you can use. Engage with us. You can submit your CV. You can let us know what you do, what skills you have. And whenever we have opportunities, we'll reach out to you. Thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of the event.